It is the 48th day of my journey. The sea has been strangely calm for days, with naught but a slight breeze and no drops of water from the heavens. The rattling captain says this is an ill omen, for in this season rain should be plentiful. The crew of the ship seems restless. They sense the unease of the captain. One of the older shipmates says he can smell bad luck in the still air. We had left the shoreline of the Red Hills because a pirate fleet had been spotted by the lookout. Luckily, we had a fair wind to aid our flight, but now we're stuck in the dead calm. As the long days idle on, the captain has become even more restless and ill-tempered. He says that the sunken strait is only safe to sail by keeping the mainland in sight, but as fate would have it, there was no other choice. The pirates have a saying: dead men tell no tales. We had to take our chances in the open waters. Alarast. And so, in the dead of night, the heroes picked up their sticks, staggered to their knees, and began anew. Hello everybody, and welcome to another video. Today, we're back in Grimrock. Those first 3 episodes I put up, I did all in one recording session. I hadn't really played that far ahead in the game at that point, and I am far more experienced in the game now. Has led to some changes, some amazing ones, okay, which you're just gonna have to trust me will pay off, and some that are gonna disappoint a few of you. First and foremost, we're not going to have a gun guy for a while. A lot of people love the idea of Twigroot using his guns. I'm sorry, I've tried them out. I'm not digging them early game, but eventually, I promise you guys, we will start using guns, okay? And even possibly Twigroot could be the gun wielder. Now, I have the same characters here: Jonker, Loto, Patho, the Rogue, Twigroot, and Sanon, but I have changed their classes slightly. This is actually a new game that I just quickly played here, because we're really like 10 minutes into the game once you know how everything works. I re-went to character select and changed some things around. As I was playing further forward with our other team, they were really starting to struggle, and a lot of the really cool things I want to be able to show you guys I sort of couldn't do. I don't really regret it that much. Yeah, it seems a bit lame, but a huge part of what Grimrock is the idea of making new characters. You can spend so long on that character creation screen. There are so many different party comps you can run with, and honestly, I feel like one of the most fun things you can experience with this game, for those of you who are just watching, you're not going to be able to play it for yourself, is that feeling of first pushing through and learning the puzzles and struggling and not knowing what's around the next corner, and then making a new character and seeing how quickly you can go through the game, how smart you are, and just generally feeling like a badass. So this episode, we have a very slightly different team. Mostly it's intact, but I do want to show you guys just how much stronger you can be with a little bit more preparation. I've put us to just before the boss fight you saw me kill at the end of the last episode, and what we're going to do is kill the boss, alright? You'll notice first of all that I'm making use of the weapon sets on both my frontline guys. They both have their regular weapons here, the rapier from the statue, and the warhorn to summon the boss over here on Jonker. And on Loto Patho, we have a set with a healing potion, but also 2 daggers here. Remember, we got the dagger from the gold key room, this one here, the backbiter, and we just found this regular dagger earlier. Now, what I'm actually going to do is put the backbiter on this weapon set here with this potion. Down here, we've got Twigroot using loads of his throwing stuff. So he's got 3 darts here, he's got 2 throwing knives, and he also has the sling and the rocks. And Sanon's not going to do any swapping, he's just got a torch and he's got his spell. So the plan is we're going to summon the boss, and I'm going to show you guys how much easier it is to kill once you know a little bit of what you're doing. So here we go. We're going to summon the boss. I'm going to run back here. Now the boss is going to spawn, but we've actually done something very smart already here. What I've done is I've put myself in a position where only one of these bosses can fight me at once. And so he'll bury down, the other one will come up, but we can keep slapping him about. Now, with just a little bit of good random luck here, you'll notice that the boss's health goes down a lot quicker than you'd otherwise expect. These 2 guys in front are the only ones that are going to be getting hit, and already we've killed one. Loto Patho is looking a little bit low, so we can quickly have him drink a potion in the middle of the fight. Twigroot's now run out of rocks, so he can weapon swap to his other throwing stuff, and we'll probably kill him. Sanon ran out of energy there. We didn't kill him with a knife, but there you go. That's how easy this can be. And, you know, it doesn't take you that long to get here. And now you could, in theory, if you're doing Iron Man, run along, go tap that save crystal. We got this gem here. We're definitely going to be keeping this. I'm going to throw, like, my random quest items, not necessarily books and stuff. Sanon can still be the master of the books. But I'm going to throw all, like, quest items and interesting things, miscellaneous stuff, on Loto. So Loto is going to be our carrier of this thing. A beautiful gem that radiates light in all the colors of the spectrum. I'm going to go back and save and progress forward. So what are some of the main changes I've made? As I say, they're kind of subtle. So Loto Patho, first of all, is still a rogue. I'll explain kind of his traits and cool stuff like that later. We won't sort of go crazy, just let's head into the forest. Let's talk about Jonker, though. Jonker was originally a fighter. Now, the main perk of being a fighter means he can use special abilities much quicker than anyone else. So he no longer has that perk. Instead, now Jonker is our farmer. Okay, so Ticrit isn't the farmer anymore. I know, kind of sad, but he's got so much more synergy. Minotaurs get really hungry, so he eats a lot, and voila, he levels a lot from that too. So you can notice he's already halfway. He's actually keeping on par already with everyone else in terms of level. So he's become a farmer, but just because he's a farmer, it doesn't mean he can't be a big frontline brute guy. It just means that he levels slightly differently, and we can still mold him into whatever we want. He's still going to be a big, tanky dude in front that hits people a lot. So now that he's our farmer, that means Ticrit can free up his class to be something else, and I've made Ticrit a rogue as well. But there is a difference between Loto Patho, who's a rogue, and also Ticrit, who is a rogue. Now, Ticrit, he's going to be like our missile weapons guy. Now, read, that does not mean archer, okay? So if we have a look over at our skills here, you'll see I've already given him a point in missile weapons, which means he does 20% more damage with missile weapons. Now, this does mean bows, this does mean crossbows, but you don't get any of those in the game for quite a while. In fact, we already have a missile weapon, and that's this sling here, right? This is a missile weapon, so he does a lot of damage with this already because he's spec'd for it. And he's going to be able to do some fantastic stuff. He's going to be able to send people to sleep soon, and all kinds of crazy things. I'll talk more about the characters later, but, you know, hopefully I can demonstrate how this feels a lot different now, and hopefully a lot more rewarding to play. Or at least a little bit easier, let's put it that way. Because the game is kind of hard. Anyway, where are we now? We are in a place called the Twigroot Forest. Many mushrooms and interesting enemies to fight here. First of all, we just get the sign that says Twigroot Forest. There's also a bag here, so let's throw this onto Jonker, open it up, see what's inside. We get a letter. Once again from the island master, this mysterious person living on the island. Are they, right now, I guess we don't really know. Are they friends with us? Are they against us? Who knows? So it says, I see you have made some progress. Good, good, but don't let it get to your head. This is just the beginning, or it could almost be the end. It all depends entirely on you. Here is a tool you might find useful. Surely you can figure it out. Okay, well, we may as well keep that letter, I guess, in Sanon for now. Won't necessarily need it for anything, but he doesn't seem to be very confident that we'll do very well. But hey, we've already got off the beach and stuff. Maybe he didn't expect that. He's given us here, though, a Mortar and Pestle. And this is described as an alchemist tool used to craft potions from herbs. And also a scroll here, which is a recipe for some potions. So it tells us how to make a healing potion, which is literally just crush up a bloodroot cap into a bottle, or an energy potion, which is to grind up some etherweed and put it into a bottle. So we'll put that on Ticrit so we can remember how to do that. And we'll also put the Mortar and Pestle on Ticrit. See, it also says we need Alchemy 1. Well, the cool thing about Ticrit as well is in addition to being our archer, he's also going to be speccing into alchemy, so Ticrit can make our potions for us, which in a weird way makes him feel more like a farmer to me than he felt on the previous playthrough, but whatever. So I can only make potions with this guy. That's fine, we can play with that soon enough. First, let's, I guess, just explore the forest a little more, since we seem okay with potions. Ideally, if you're going to do like some kind of speed run through the game, not that I'd recommend it, you would want to go left first. Instead, we're going to take a right, and we're going to very carefully maneuver our way around looking for items, and we're going to be very cautious of bushes like this one, which you can attack, just like this one here too. If you're wandering around the forest, and I believe this may only happen at night, it's just a hunch, I haven't spent enough time in the forest to confirm 100%, some of the bushes come to life, and they will start attacking you. So these enemies get used to, at least while we're in this little area of the game. There are a fair few of them around. The environments you end up going to, guys, are ridiculous. There's actually a place, we start to experience how open world the game is right now. There's a place I could take us to that would just blow your socks off with just how amazing it looks, but I think I'm going to have to wait. Originally, I was planning to end this video with it, but it's too out of order. It's too risky to go there just yet. Alright, so anyway, we'll break those bushes, and every now and then when you're attacking those bushes, you will find that they reveal enemies within them, who will otherwise attack you anyway, so you may as well deal with them. Here on the floor, we find some light armor. This is a sand mole hide vest. During times of drought, farmers often resort to hunting sand moles for their meat and thick hides. Well, we haven't seen any sand moles yet, right? But this is some nice gear. Currently, Jonker's got the embalmer's robe on him because this gives him protection and vitality with no drawbacks at all. This, however, just gives us protection +3, but it also drops our evasion massively. Thing is with Jonker, he's a big minotaur. He doesn't dodge anyway, so you'll notice his stats over here. Evasion. Evasion is your chance of evading physical attacks. The damage from each evaded attack is completely avoided. He's already at 0. So in theory, we can equip this on him with no problem, right? It's not actually going to do it. Now he's at -5, but he was already at 0 anyway. He already had no chance to dodge. However, I think the embalmer's robe is slightly better, so instead let's come over to Twigroot and we'll put it on him. Now Twigroot started with 11 evasion, so this might not be smart. Maybe we'll do it on Sanon, because he's already on -5 anyway, you see? There's a big thing in this game about when you're building defensively, you want to make sure some characters, you want to make sure that you don't like take away good stuff. So if someone's really evasive, you don't want to equip armor on him that he doesn't know how to use, because it will just remove that evasion. Our team has got 2 dodgy guys. We've got Twigroot and Lotopatho. They're really dodgy. And we've got 2 flat up tanky guys, which is Sanon and Jonker. Oh, I never actually told you guys, Jonker was a wizard. Oh, and we've got another one of these guys just here. We'll deal with this. I never actually told you guys, but Sanon is actually now a battle mage rather than a wizard. This means he runs out of energy a little bit quicker, well, a fair amount quicker, but he's actually also a fair bit tankier too at the same time. As I say, I want to talk more about the individual characters later, but for now we should just keep exploring, right? I know you guys want to see more of the game. So somehow I've managed to worm my way around. So on the rightmost path, we didn't really find very much except a couple of items. Well, what if we come over here? Ah, there's a bag. Let's have a look inside. Again, more food, perfect. We also get more potions, so we'll throw this here, so they've both got 2 potions again. And here we've got a scroll of poison bolts. So if we had made Sanon purely an earth mage, we could already do this. A sizzling, venomous bolt of poison shooting from your hands. We're being attacked from behind. You don't have to be too scared of these guys. They look creepy as all hell, but they're not actually that dangerous. So we'll swap back over here. We don't need the shovel right now. And you notice Lotopatho's already critting really high. It's because he's got such a good weapon, because he's so dexterous. And he's actually quite accurate at the same time too. There's something I'd love to show you guys that I didn't really realise on my first playthrough. Do we want to go this way yet? I guess we do. And that's what Lotopatho can do with this regular knife. But here, you'll notice we've got another mushroom. These things are used to make the healing potions. So we've basically got 2 healing potions on us right now, because we've got 2 of these blood drop caps. Ah, and a fence. And we need a key to get through. Curious, but if you do look very closely, if you've got a keen eye, you can see through the forest there looks to be some kind of building. Our aim in this video is to get inside that building, and it shouldn't take us too long. So, we're going to keep progressing along. There must be something else in the forest, right? It's not all going to be dead ends. Sanon's starving. We should probably feed him. Now, the way I'm trying to deal with the farmer here is I feed my other members of the party when they get hungry, when they start starving. But otherwise, I just leave them. And with Jonker himself, I just feed him little nibbly stuff a lot. So like this little borer mushroom, I'll feed him that when he just gets a little bit more peckish. So he eats lots of small bits of food, and by eating lots of small bits of food, he levels up nice and quickly, right? So use the big food on other people, because it doesn't matter how good the food is he eats, it will always like bump his experience up the same amount. Like, so he's not even that hungry right now, but if we eat this mushroom, he gets quite a lot of the way to the level. Farmer's kind of interesting, because as a class, it means... Oh god, we're getting low, careful. So remember, if Lotopatho gets hit, it's going to be rare that he gets hit, but he's going to take loads of damage when it does happen. The farmer as a class, it doesn't start with any skill points, so you notice Jonker actually doesn't have barely any points in anything at all. But the trade-off here is you get so much food at the start of the game, you can just have him go to town, you can have him feast on so much stuff, and very, very quickly he can power level beyond everyone else, and so that's something I'm pretty sure they did for balance. Here we got another one of these bushes. This guy was trying to come out. Now let's say everyone was really low, okay? What have we got for range? We've got, well, Twigroot can throw these rocks as missile weapons. Well, we can also actually use range with our rogue by throwing that knife. Now it missed, sadly. But that's an example of the special attacks in the game. By throwing it, you'll notice he's now on empty hands. So that's why I have my other weapon set here with the potion and the other dagger ready to go. But he'll pick it back up, as you can see here, as we walk over. So that's a special ability. Now, every weapon in the game... Oh, so we found another way down. That looks kind of scary. Well, it also looks like there might be something behind this bush here. Indeed, there's a little bit of ammo. It's still worth picking up the ammo because we will get to guns at some point. There's also some kind of face on a rock there that seems to have fallen over. You guys might remember from a previous episode we saw some of those on a beach. So every single weapon in the game has a special ability. So for the regular dagger, it doesn't cost like any levels in light weapons to be able to use. It's just called throw. It's a special attack. Now you use this by holding down the click. If I just click, I swing with it. If I hold down the click, you'll notice it charges up. It shows me how much energy I'm going to spend. And when I release, it throws it. But if that was a different weapon, it would have a different special ability. So let's have a look here at Jonker. Jonker has a different special ability. At level 3 light weapons, he gets this thing here called Thrust, which we don't know what it does yet because he's not skilled enough just yet. So this is a big thing that makes weapons seem kind of mysterious. Like you'll find a weapon on the floor and you'll be like, all right, the weapon itself doesn't look that good, but maybe the special ability is pretty cool. Anyway, so we're underground. We are now listed as being in the Twigroot tunnels. And you'll notice the Dead Sailor's Cave, that old dungeon we went in, is down here. Now on the overworld, if I click up, we can now see what's going on upstairs, and you can see how the maps work. Shipwreck Beach was where we played throughout the first recording session, the first 3 episodes. Now we're in Twigroot Forest, and you'll notice there's basically a whole new dungeon complex underneath the Twigroot tunnels. For now, we're just in a very small little area. We'll be back outside very shortly. But mainly, we want to get through this door. So here's a recurring thing from Grimrock 1. Oh, there's a trapdoor there. This actual whole zooming in thing is new to the game. You can actually sort of peek down holes. But we can't really get over there. There is a way. This is a bit of a secret. But instead, I'm going to deliberately fall myself down the hole to show you guys what this is like. Ow. So, we fell down the pit, and you'll notice everyone took a ton of damage. The game is kind of structured that you don't want to fall down pits. You often want to look down them and go down anyway to explore and find secrets. And there's an item you can get later in the game that really helps you with this, like a climbing rope, but we're a ways from that, so for now we're just going to have to grit our teeth and bear it. There's also a chance you can get injured when you fall down trapdoors, which is a new thing in the game. Nobody got injured here, so I don't really have to talk about it just yet. But yeah, we fell down, and if we look up, you can actually see that's where we came from. And if we open our map, oh my god, look, we're even lower now. We're now in the Twigroot basement. There wasn't a 3rd level down in the previous map. So you can kind of think of this game. It's like the previous Grimrock was just one dungeon that went down and down and down and down and down and down and down. This game is like there's a million little dungeons in all of these different areas. All of these tiles, they can all be areas, and each one has its own potentially limitless, depthless dungeon under it. So now we're in the basement. For now, the basement's very small, though. We don't really have anywhere we can go. There's not going to be any secrets on any of the walls. It's really just something that I want to show you guys how the mechanics work. There's very little reason to come down here at all. There is an achievement in the game to lure an enemy into a certain spot, and then you can go through a teleport and kill them. And you can maybe try and get that here. So what do we do? How do we get over it? It's a little bit of a puzzle. Maybe an easy one. What if we get Tikrit to sling a rock over there and hit the pressure pad? That will close this. And voila, we're safe. Now, you might be tempted to pick that rock back up, but then you might also forget you did it and then end up falling down anyway. So I'm not going to do that. Actually, yeah, I'm not going to do that. Our torch is burning a little bit low, but I guess we don't really care about that just yet. Let's turn the corner and... oh, God, it sounds like there's something in here, guys. Okay, get ready. Maybe have your weapon charged as you're traveling around. I like to do this. Be ready, especially if it's like a big, dangerous one. Aha! There's a knight in here. That wasn't actually what we just heard. I think we were hearing rats through the walls. But yes, so, these are an old enemy. Do you guys remember in the previous game? Right at the start of the end of the first floor, you'd have like this big dangerous skeleton suddenly jumped out at you. This is like the Grimrock 2 equivalent, I guess. Not so scary since we know that he's coming. And because, you know, we're fairly strong. We know what we're doing right now. We're actually kind of wrecking the guy. I remember my first playthrough with our original team, that was not such an easy fight. Alright, so here, look, check it out. We've got an iron key. And what was there in that other room? A door with a lock. There's also a tattered cloak here, which we can put on Jonker. And you'll see he's really starting to get quite geared out now. And otherwise, I guess we're okay. We've got the key, so let's head on back to that gate. See what happens when we throw it in there. And ultimately, don't forget, we kind of want to get through a doorway outside, right? So maybe we could take this key and try it in there. I do want to weigh this down because I want my rock back. So what should I do? I'll put one of the empty sacks on it. There we go. And there you go. You can have your rock back. All items generally have the same weight, so don't worry about that too much. And again, because Loto Pafo, he's like our dungeoneer. He's our secrets guy. He's our, you know, adventurer. He's going to be the one carrying the keys and stuff like that. And check it out. We got a chest. This chest isn't locked. We can open it up, and here we'll find a scroll of ice shards, frost bombs, and a round key. So this is the key we want to go through that gate up in the forest upstairs. We'll equip that there for now. And over here we can check out this scroll. So this is another spell we've learned. See, it throws them at you very quickly. And to cast this, we need to activate all 3 runes on the bottom row. And this will summon ice shards, deathly sharp spikes of ice, thrust from the ground, hitting your opponents in a line. Every point in water magic increases the spell's range by 1. You notice our torch is about to burn out here, so the lights are flickering a bit. Dungeons are a little bit worse when you're playing them in the dark, so we'll swap it in a second. But we have a decision here. Do we want to start learning ice shards? The main advantage of ice shards right now is later on, when you get like really end game ice magic, you can freeze stuff solid and do all kinds of crazy stuff. For now, it would just basically be a ranged ability we can use. And I guess we can show it off. All right, so let's go. Let's put a point into water magic, right? So now that we have 1 in water and 1 in earth, if we come to Sanon, we activate the 3 bottom runes. It says question mark. We release, and Sanon learned a new spell. Now, you notice that was quite costly on the energy, because he's now a battle mage. I have a very good reason for making him a battle mage, by the way. Because he's now a battle mage, he will run out of energy very quickly if we try and cast something like that a lot. But it now means we have ranged damage on 3 guys. We can throw a knife with Loto, we can constantly throw a ton of stuff with Twigroot, and even Sanon now has a little bit of a ranged option. This torch is completely burned out, but on his other weapon set he's got another one, so that's fine. And I guess in theory, now that we've got the key, we're free to go. But wait. There is a secret in this room. Always be watching the walls. You'll find that there's one right here. You want to click it. Not all secrets are necessarily immediately good things. As you can see here, we have a friggin' skeleton trying to kill us straight away. So do be aware of that. And always maybe save if you want to before you open these things and you're not sure what's going to happen. This game could be cruel. Anyway, this secret will give us, first of all, just some loot from this enemy we killed. I guess this helmet, this ancient helm, if we have a look. This is protection +5 as opposed to the protection +1 from Jonker's current thing. And because he's not evasive anyway, we don't actually care about the fact that he doesn't have heavy armor proficiency. And we'll throw that on him. We now have the peasant's cap we can maybe put over on Loto Pafo here. We also get this shield, which I'll talk about in a second. But lastly, the secret, the main thing of the secret, is this wand. Now, this requires concentration 1. It is a spellcasting item, so we're going to give it to Sanon here. Sanon has concentration 1. I gave this to him so that he could get a bit of energy, right? And what this does is this allows you to cast spells like it was an open hand. So if I right-click this, we get the rune grid, just like this. There are certain spellcasting items that allow you to do this. But the main passive of it is it actually gives him more energy, which is just flat out more useful. A beautifully crafted wooden wand that can be used to channel a wizard's energy, or a battle mage, as it would turn out, which is what we now are. So that's pretty cool. Our second torch is now burning out, and that's the secret in a nutshell. The other thing we got was the shield. Shields can drop from pretty much... Hold on, where was that torch? It was here, right? So what we'll do is we'll get this burnt out torch. We'll take this one off the wall. It's very ambient, right? We'll throw that burnt out one there, and we'll move on. One kind of cool thing about the Grimrock 2 dungeons is you get these lanterns here, which you can't collect as light sources for yourself, but it does mean that many dungeons aren't in pure pitch black darkness all the time because you get the lanterns around. But the shield is like a random drop that will sometimes come from skeletons. Largely, you don't want too many, but you'll notice here it's called the Ancient Shield, and it gives you evasion +5, but health -15. So it does have an immediate drawback. Loto Pafo, if I equip this on him, will take even more damage when enemies finally get hits through, but because it's more evasion and that's what we want for him, I like to equip it. So what we're going to do is reshuffle his items a little bit. We're going to put the potion up on his first weapon set, we're going to hide the key in his inventory, and on his second weapon set, we're going to have the dagger and the shield. So he's going to start out up here, he's going to throw his knife, then he's going to swap back through, and he's going to start attacking with the shield as evasion. One big mistake you might make is you might think, oh, big shield, I'll put that on my big defensive guy, right? I'll swap it for this horn. But the thing is, what does the shield actually give us? It gives us evasion. Jonker is already on -8 evasion. This shield does nothing for him, okay? So you don't want to do that. That was something that used to catch people out, and me in particular in Grimrock 1 as well. So you want to be careful of that. The shields, generally for now at least, are for your evasive people. Until we actually get proficient with this cumbersome armor we're finding, it's really not worth it. I'm going to just travel a little bit back into the forest here, grab this blood drop mushroom, and really what you want to do, or I know when I was playing the first game, a lot of people got very OCD about this. Okay, I'm usually not very forgiving about people who get OCD about stuff, but you do want to reveal everywhere on the map, right, so that you know you've seen everywhere, and I can understand that, and I will probably try and do that myself. It's also a bit dark out, so how about we level up Jonker a bit by feeding him this, and then we have a bit of a rest. Resting something you'll see me do a lot in this game. Oh, Loto Pafo's now starving. But it can heal your team up very quickly when you're not in combat. Very useful, and you'll see me do it a lot. Here, we'll give him some turtle steak. Sorry you were starving all the way through the night up there, buddy. And he's fine. Also, it's day, so check out the forest during the day. Look at how pretty this place looks. It's unbelievable. Ah, I love it so much. And here we go. Back to the gate. Round key in. Just took us a little bit of time in that dungeon, right? And where are we now?